Hey guys, here again for the second time today. Thanks for watching on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Check us out on the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Instagram and LinkedIn. Thanks for tuning in again. This is me with a weekly update coming to you on Thursday afternoon instead of Friday this week. Quite a bit happened again this week. Hopefully you've watched some of the other episodes over the last few days in relation to the new listings and the property management. But a few things. Harcourts Tasmania have partnered with Your Real Estate TV show, which first episode was on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. live. So some really good content on there. Make sure you jump on and check that out. It's being shared around a fair bit on the Harcourts Tasmania page, on our page. So every Tuesday there's going to be a new episode looking at some really good properties around Tasmania, some for sale, some being built, all sorts of things on there. Looking at the quarterly market report, we will have a new quarterly market report out very soon. So that's got quite a bit of info. Some of the stuff I'll talk about today in there, but looking at those stats, we're seeing all the metrics going north, which are really exciting still for the market. There's been some really good results over the last few days. Some of the older properties that we've had on the market, when I say older properties, listings that have been on the market for a while, have been getting some strong interest again, renewed interest over the last week or two due to the supply and demand factors. Still more properties selling than listings, so we're seeing some really good competition even in some of the properties that have been for sale in a while. So the amount of properties that we have available is at an all-time low right now. So we have got a few coming up, but equal high demand coming in. So it's going to be an interesting balance of spring, as we keep talking about with that supply and demand factor every week. Just thought I'd give you a bit of a look at Huonville over a longer term. So looking at some of the stats just today, looking back at where the average sale price was, and looking back 2013 and 14, that sort of era, the average prices were just under the 300,000 for Huonville, and now we're seeing it up around the 450, heading up a bit from there at the moment. So it's around 50% increase in that sort of 6-year window, I suppose. So it's a reasonable amount the property's gone up, which I guess when you look at most long-term trends, they do say properties double every sort of 12, 14 years, and looks like it's on track for that again. So Huonville has been performing very well. A lot of the Huon Valley stats are very equal to that across most suburbs. We've probably seen some of the further out areas lag a little bit behind, but yeah, quite interesting when you're looking back and seeing where that's going. So it looks like it's going to continue with the budget that has just came out over the last couple of days. A lot of stuff in there to support people that are building and looking at the first home market. There's a lot of jobs for younger people, which will mean a lot of those people will be looking more likely to have solid employment and getting into the real estate market. So from that end of the market, that's where a lot of our transactions trickle on from. When somebody who's a first home owner buys a property, then they buy somebody else's property, and then that person buys another property, and so on. So it keeps the transactions happening right around the country. So I think the government has probably worked that out, that that's a really good area to target to keep a lot of people employed in the construction industry. We've already seen a really high amount of uptake over the last few months for land and building new homes in that first home buyer space. Looks like that's not going to let up for next year as well. So it seems like there's going to be quite a bit of demand for land and for building properties, and yes, generally people entering into the real estate market. So anyway, that's enough for me today. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week on the weekend update on Monday.